Didn't know this video was today.
YouTube, what's going on? Today I'll be going over the top 10 games you must own in your collection with these cute, awesome little games here. To start off, let's begin with a game that I believe was one of the first in my collection. Coup. Now, the reason why I think Coup should be inside of your collection. This is a pure bluffing game with a lot of pressure luck. I love that throughout the game you're establishing some meta between the players because, well, none of the rules are written how you're supposed to lie and bluff or tell the truth. You start recognizing ways people play the game. The game's very simple. You want to knock everybody else out of the game. You do this by playing the cards in your hand or lying about what you have in your hand, doing the action that each card offers, and trying to catch people out of their lie or collect money in order to assassinate people and so forth. It plays with about 2 to 6 players, plays in about 15 minutes, and is for ages 13 and up. The experience I've had with this game is nothing short of fun because we all enjoy saying if they're good liars, oh, I'm not a great liar, end up being really good liars, and just and it's just a solid game as far as gameplay and replay value go. Next on my list is going to be Hive Mind, which is one of the newer games in my collection. The reason why I like Hive Mind so much is because it is a great game for both casual players and players who play pretty often. It's pretty much the reverse category. Think like everyone else in order to stay alive. So you could put down answers that you know other people will write. You could put down answers that people will not write in order to potentially make other people get slowly removed out of the hive. And you can also ask questions that you know some people may or may not know. Now the game is very simple. You want to stay inside of the hive. And just like bees all think alike, if you aren't, you are getting pushed out of the hive more and more. The reason why I say you should own this game absolutely is because of how much fun this game can be. The prompts are really great. It's always really interesting to see how everybody else answers. It's a lot of fun seeing really ridiculous answers. And the gameplay itself is very easy to learn and very easy to play. Next on my list, I'm sure everybody knows by now, which is why I'm suggesting this, Codenames. Codenames is a semi-cooperative card game where you and your partner are against another team of person and partner. Throughout the game, you will be saying statements and giving underlying meanings on specific words that are laid out on the table. Your partner has to guess which words you are actually trying to identify with the statement that you said. The reason why I like this is because it does add a lot of strategy. Another game that kind of adds this meta enhancement, and a lot of people seem to enjoy this. You could actually play this in multiple groups, and you can create groups to play. You don't have to just do 2 versus 2. You could do 3v3, 4. You could do 4v4. I mean, there's plenty of ways to play this game. It also plays very shortly. It's at about 15 minutes and can hold a lot of people. So this is great for parties. It's a very fun game figuring out the clues and such. Next up on the list is Dungeon Fighter. This is a very funny dungeon crawler. It has a fantastic theme. It's actually very immersive as well, with a tower that you build and a giant board that you could throw dice onto. Huge dexterity and a lot of cooperative. You are all going through dungeons, fighting harder monsters as you go, physically throwing dice with mechanics being added, like if you have to throw it while jumping or closing your eyes, or you could buy weapons that will add specific ways to toss your dice. You can incorporate all of them at the same time. There's huge player interaction in this game. The reason why I suggest this is because it is a co-op and it is a dungeon crawler. So if you are trying to slowly bring the casual players into heavier dungeon gaming, this is one way to do it, because once they get hooked to this, they're going to want more. Scrawl is like telephone. You are going to be given a prompt, you draw the prompt, you pass the drawing on, and then when you receive a new drawing, you write what you think the prompt was. You pass that prompt on. And it continues until you get your original drawing back and you see the outcome. And it's usually freaking hilarious. I think that the prompts that are given in this game are really funny compared to other types of telephone games. And I love the style of this type of game. I think the mechanics are really easy to learn. And this is just a great party game altogether. Now there is a newer version, but I enjoy this version more just because of all the monsters as a theme versus the simplicity of the re-release. Pioneer Days is probably one of the resource collecting games that I think everyone should own. It is a newer game. It plays with 2 to 4 players, plays in about 45 minutes, and for 14 and up. Why I like this game so much is because it uses a dice mechanic to accumulate resources and recruits. Each dice represents an action, and each color represents a disaster. So while everybody's choosing dice, we all have to work together to remember which disasters to avoid or purposely make trigger, which is a bit of the strategy there. You can actually collect the resources you need for specific disasters just in case, or you could purposely make disasters go off to harm other opponents. Pretty much, you are trying to get resources to score points on a versatile point bonus system in order to win after, I believe, 4 weeks traveling as a pioneer. The Resistance, another great party-esque game that I absolutely recommend. Another great game for casual players as well. This game can hold a huge amount of people, up to 10, and plays in about 30 minutes, but it never feels that way because you will be playing this multiple times if you like this style of game. This is The Resistance. In The Resistance, you are trying to complete missions, destroy a corrupt government. But here's the catch. Some people in your resistance are actually spies for the government. So throughout the game, while you're trying to go on missions and succeed these missions, you have to make sure that you are not allowing spies on this mission. Now, you don't know who the spies are, so that's where you have to start deducing who could the spy be, because missions will be failing, and you have to make sure they don't fail any longer. It's really fun. We've had so many great board game nights playing The Resistance, and it's just so easy to play that I don't see why anybody wouldn't want to own it in their collection. Card Assassin. Now, I've heard mixed reviews on this, but honestly, this is just a passive game to play throughout your game night. This is why it's so necessary to own. The reason I say this is because with Card Assassin, you are literally choosing a card and choosing a player, and each player is given a specific player they have to kill. So you start looking at names of everybody else in the party. And yet the other card that you chose has words on there. Those are kill words. You have to somehow throughout the game night get that specific player to say one of your kill words, and then you get to take their player, their kill word. You have more kill words, and you also have a second player to try to kill. The person who kills the most people inside of your game group throughout the night while playing all these other fantastic games is the winner. It's so much fun because you will be playing games and you'll start hearing questions and conversations that you didn't know were actually just setups to say the word that they want you to say so they can win the game. Hanavi is a fantastic strategic meta cooperative card game. You are building fireworks with other people, but the catch is you don't see your own cards. In fact, everybody else sees your cards. And you are only allowed to give so much information about these cards to everybody else that it's actually a very difficult game. And it can get even more difficult depending on how you guys want to play it. Throughout this game, you are actually developing the meta. The way people want to process what kind of cards you have. The way people want to process what cards they remember they have. It's a very unique core mechanic. You only have so many fails before the firework building that you are in is no longer there. So be careful what you say, be careful what cards you play, But beating this game is one of the most satisfying feelings in board gaming history, in my opinion. Last but not least, Battle Goats. Battle Goats is probably one of my favorite games that I got off Kickstarter. So I actually posted this game as often as I could because I wanted to reach all the stretch goals because of how cool this game looks. Now, Battle Goats is a 2 to 6 player memory/war mechanic card game that plays in about 5 to 30 minutes and for ages 9 and up. Throughout the game, you will be battling other cards in a war-like system. Higher card wins, but each card actually sometimes has actions on them, and they have their own card type, and they're all laid out face down, so you have to memorize which cards are showing up throughout the battle that you can try to attack, or that you've already tried to attack, or which of their cards are actually stronger than the others, because as you're pulling cards up from your deck and their deck, the higher card's going to win. So you want to make sure you're not going to pull their high card, that you're actually pulling the cards that you remember you could potentially beat with your cards. The last player standing is the winner. So these are my top 10 must-own games for your collection. Yeah, a lot of them are cooperative, and yeah, a lot of them are open to casual players, but that's the way my game groups work. And you know, it is hard to find game groups that are available to play heavier games. So these ones are just always open. You have a family party, you have some friends coming over, you have a work meeting, or you just want to go to a game store and have anybody play with you. These are the games that I believe are easy to learn, fun to play, and will have a very long shelf run in your board game collection. Now, if you like this video, if you can subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment about what your favorite game is or what you think should be in your collection, I'd love to hear it.